Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming. I'm bringing you another first impressions video. This time we're checking out SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. This game is developed by Purple Lamp Studios, published by THQ Nordic, and released today on January 31st, 2023 for a price of $39.99. Now, full transparency, a little different from my normal first impressions videos. I've actually played this game for a good bit of time now, both a few hours on my account, but also along with my wife, because we enjoy these kind of games and playing them together, so we did a lot on her account. So I'm going to start a new game, but also kind of share my initial impressions slash review. Maybe I'll call this a review, but, it's not entirely a review because I didn't do it. You know what I mean? I usually try to beat games when I do reviews, and I haven't finished this yet. But I want to talk about it and really share those thoughts. So as far as like initial impressions and review-esque kind of things, maybe we'll call this review. We'll see. Depends on what I upload. Honestly, it's a really fun game. Visually, it's a little different. Like it feels like it has this kind of little off graphicalness from like the TV show, which is definitely a factor. But the game, like just as far as like some of that nostalgia aspect, like I grew up when SpongeBob first came out to like the world as a TV show. I remember what it used to be, like what it looked like, and I know it's evolved quite a bit. I don't followed it recently, but it has a little bit of a like borderline tinge. Now, as far as like the gameplay itself, it's very fluid and smooth and feels like a lot of like these esque kind of styled games. Like it feels like I'm playing like a Spyro type game. It feels really, fluid and fun. The controls are great. I don't really have any nicks there. The game also does a really good job at slowly introducing you to mechanics and not overwhelming you. So it's a great kid introductory style platformer game. So like if I have to pick a market, like I said, of games that if you enjoy like, we'll use some recent ones. If you have like girls and they enjoyed like the Bratz the movie kind of games, or they enjoyed like some of the How to Train Your Dragon games. Like this is definitely a game that fits perfectly in that area. If you have younger boys and they enjoy games like Spyro the Last Dragon or Ratchet and Clank, and like they're SpongeBob fans, this is a game that actually is a really good playthrough. I haven't really ever played too many SpongeBob games, so this is kind of a good like initial plot impression for me. I don't have any like former biasness or anything, and this is just an example of like how the game teaches you how to play it. It gives you these little like graphical things, and there isn't really any content in the game that is bad to me. Like if you're comfortable with your kids watching the TV show, you're going to be extremely comfortable with the worlded style of how this game works. If you've seen like the Lego movies and all the crazy dimensions and stuff and altered realities, this is 100% what this game is. It's going into crazy worlds. The characters are adapted. You'll see different forms of Sandy, Mr. Krabs. Okay, let's be honest, it's the same Mr. Krabs. He's basically just wearing a costume, it seems like. But, you get different iterations of characters. You get to do a lot of fun. You'll go through things like the boating school, crazy bosses. You'll get so many nostalgic callbacks from characters. It's a really great, funny, and just enjoyable, like, nostalgic throwback for anybody who's grew up in, like, early days of SpongeBob to middle days to present days and everything in between. And it's a game that really builds a really good, solid package. I just think developers have done a really good job at, keeping this game kind of true. I know, like, it's not a movie game, but there's plenty of movies on SpongeBob, and generally movie adaptations and stuff don't do super great. Honestly, this one has done a very, very good job to me, and it feels good. The visuals are the only really knockoff to me, and maybe that's just because it's not the generation of SpongeBob I grew up with. But it has a really good story that really keeps you engaged, but also gives you a lot of content in terms of, what's going on in the game to keep you going, and it doesn't really rinse repeat itself a whole lot outside of like maybe how the combat works. You do get a lot of story driven stuff that really change up the world. You have a lot of changiness in the maps, different kind of crazy boss battles, from weird Gary alterations to all kinds of things that kind of kick up in the game that do really well. And it really presents a good package. And for me, when it comes to games like this, all the character narration really sounds really good and on point. So you really get a good, like, SpongeBob sounds like SpongeBob, Patrick sounds like Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, the whole cast all sound right, you know, but just the big detractor for me is just the visual appearance. Like, it feels like I'm watching the SpongeBob movies, which I know has a little bit of a different graphical versus more cartoony SpongeBob, which is what I grew up with. Overall, though, as far as my opinion on SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake, I know this started out as a first impression and tangented into me doing a review. I think this game is a ton of fun, and it's a great game for kids. It's a great game for families, and as well as anybody who enjoy these kind of games and grew up with, like, SpongeBob as like a nostalgic-esque thing. I think it's a really good package. You're going to get a good bit of game time in and a lot of things to do, and if you're one of those like OCD like collecting everything, there's opportunities there for you as well, and it's done really well. I don't really have many complaints outside of, just like I said, just the visuals that just it that's just me having trouble processing it. But yeah, that's a whole different other story. As far as just an overall opinion, I think the game's really good. It comes in at a good price point for these kind of games at $40, and it does a really good job. It's a ton of fun. I've enjoyed playing it. I've enjoyed spending some time with family playing it. And I know for achievement hunters out there, there's things that you can do and work on. I know there's already people uploading achievement guides for certain little challenges and things to do. But yeah, that's my opinion of SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. I think it's worth a buy. If you have any opinions, questions, want to know more, please let me know down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hitting that thumbs up button. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and you enjoy SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake. We'll catch you next time.